Hello, everyone. So today we have Prarthana Majumdar with us, who is the co-founder of Dzukou. She has done her undergraduation from IIT Guwahati. She has completed mechanical engineering there. Being passionate about physics, she went on to do her masters from the prestigious Stanford University. She has done masters in aeronautics. Currently, she's pursuing PhD from a joint PhD in design from the Netherlands and from IIT. So I think we'll start with the interview. So my first question for you, ma'am, is since Apple is a dream company for many, what was your greatest learning experience in Apple, and how is it helping you now?
So Apple is the only corporate experience I had. It's the only company I have ever worked for, but it's also the company that I will always want to go back to. I wouldn't want to work for anyone else. I learned a lot of things at Apple. So first of all, which we all have heard of, think different. Apple really teaches you to think different. Well, a lot of entrepreneurship lessons are going to teach you to look at your user base and identify points where there are no products and then fill it in. But Apple really teaches you to think different. You don't have to always fill in gaps. You can create a product that people want. And if the product needs an ecosystem, then you've got to build an ecosystem around it, right? Like Apple does. For instance, if you're using an iPhone, iWatch, iPad, and a Mac, then basically they are all synced. They are a full ecosystem that you're using. So the greatest thing that I learned at Apple is that do not always follow what users are telling you or user interviews are telling you, but use your own mind, think different. Maybe you create a product that nobody has ever created, and you people might want to use it still. The second thing that I learned at Apple was actually from my manager a lot, is that you really need to stress on quality and details. The the good thing about a good product is it in details. So if you're using a product and you get stuck in details, you're using a coffee machine but you're not able to set up the temperature perfectly, or the coffee is too hot or not hot enough, that's where you get pissed off. So a good product is really defined by details. So if you're already using an iPhone or a Mac, then you already know to what detail they design it. So currently in my startup also, I'm totally after details. I'm like, everything has to be perfect, everything has to be detail oriented. Maybe I'm quite a pain in the ass sometimes, but I still try to follow as Apple as much as I can. Also, I try to think different. I don't look at what is there in the Indian market or the European market, but I think of what new we can provide, especially in the Indian market. And the last greatest thing that I learned from Apple is a bit internal. So I was an employee there. So being an employee, you get to see the internal culture. And what I really loved about Apple is that it respected employees a lot. So it respects that you need to be home for dinner with your family. You don't have to work overtime. It respects that, yeah, it's not going to throw free food at you, but it expects you to buy your own food. But it expects that, yeah, you are going to have time off during festivals and all. And this is a culture that I totally try to imbibe. I try to respect my employees' personal lives so that they look at my company as their own. So this is something internal. You will only get it if you're working in Apple headquarters, that they really, really respect employees' personal lives a lot.
Well, that's quite interesting, and well, that's quite interesting to know about your opinion. So, I was just curious to know that what was the major inspiration for you to, choose such an unconventional career shift? Because you
Mhm.
were working at Apple and you had a very good job. I'm pretty sure it was very stable, and it's actually a risk to get into a startup and start something of your own. So I was just really curious to know what was your inspiration and how did you manage to take such a big risk?
Actually, I have to be honest here. I did not choose this career. This career chose me. So I was always a big company person. I always wanted to have a comfortable big company life. So during Apple, I also interviewed for Deutsche Bank, and I got into Deutsche Bank investment banking, which is also quite a good job. But you know what? During working at Apple, I was learning a lot. It was amazing, but I felt like it was too stable. I was only 26, and one day I thought like, yeah, what is the biggest challenge I have now? I need to buy a house. And then I was like, oh my God, at 26, the biggest challenge that is left for me is just to buy a house now. And I was like, okay, that's not me. If I die today, I have not made any difference in the world, except that I have worked in a big company. And that was, I think, the starting point. Also, I think I was quite a smart kid during school. So I was not mentally challenged enough in a big company. I wanted more rigor in my work and all that. I decided to take up a PhD in design because being at Apple, you are exposed to design a lot. And I really got passionate about design. So when I took up my PhD in design, funnily, my PhD in design is in emerging countries like India, Bangladesh, Africa, or Malaysia, that sort of. So I had to travel a lot in villages in India. I had to like spend time in a house where there was no electricity most of the time. I had to reach my subjects walking in paddy fields. I had to pull water from the well and all that sort of, rural life. But during that time, I really thought about it. Okay, most companies are West oriented, but if you look at India, for instance, there's so much opportunity. We have so many eco materials, we have resources, we have manpower, we have craftsmanship, and not many companies are doing anything about it. And that's really when I thought that, okay, maybe after my PhD, I can start a company, but I didn't do anything about it. So, as I said, I did not choose this career chose me. I was living in Delft when the neighboring building had an architecture firm, and the partner there was a good friend of mine. So at one point, my PhD was going through a very big low. You know how PhDs have ups and lows, right?
Yeah.
So my the friend told me, yeah, you know what, your PhD is already going through shit. So why don't you start your company now? It's a good time for you to start your company. And then I started looking for a co-founder. I never found any. So finally he had to be my co-founder. He's the Dutch guy who's also my co-founder right now. So that's how it started. Lots of turbulences happened. Soon after we started, there was the cap protest in India. Now we have the whole pandemic thing.
Yeah.
But you know what, you just have to, it chooses you. You don't choose it chooses you. You just have to flow with it. There will be a lot of bullshit coming your way when you have a company, but you just have to close your eyes and believe that someday there will be a better life. So I think that's how it came. It was a long, meandering path for me. But I don't know. It's an exciting adventure. You have to look at it as a journey, not a destination.
Okay. Thank you. Well, that's actually a very unique thing. Like you were telling me, you had to go to the villages and everything. That's actually very unique. Going out of your comfort zone, trying something different. So, and there's no doubt that you were actually smart as a kid. I mean, it's no joke that you're, Stanford
Yeah.
graduate and IITian. So, of course, you were really smart. Also, my next question for you would be, I am really curious to know more about your company. I mean, what does it do, and how did you conceive this idea of the entire startup? Like you said, you were interested in designing, and Apple had a major role to play. Uh, and that's where you got this idea from. But then a little more detail would be really nice.
Cool. So where does Zuko come from? What does it do?
Yeah.
Zuko is a company. Basically, it's a Dutch company. It sells in Europe mostly. So we are only trying to come into India right now. So Zuko wants to make eco materials or clean materials mainstream to replace plastics. If you look at the market now, there are lots of cheap plastic goods. All of them will probably end in the landfill or the ocean, completely destroying our land masses. So what Zuko wants to do is replace all those cheap products with eco materials like clean materials, wood, bamboo, linen, silk. We have so many big range of materials in our environment that are completely degradable. So why do we constantly use plastics? If you, for instance, if you buy something plastic, maybe it's cheap, but how long are you going to use it? Are you even going to use it till the end of its life? You're probably going to get bored of it because it's low quality. You're going to discard it. But if you buy something high quality, maybe it will cost you a little bit more, but you are going to preserve it, right? You have seen so many people have their grandma's beds in their home, for instance. We nowadays, if you go to buy furniture, you have Poland wood furniture, which is not very durable. It's just cheap. But if you have a pure wood piece of furniture from your grandma's generation, you're probably going to preserve it as antique. So in the long run, even though your grandma's piece of furniture is more expensive, it's more sustainable. But what is happening right now is that all the sustainable companies, they don't try to make sustainable products happening or fashionable. That's what Zuko tries to make. It shouldn't feel like if I am buying a wooden straw or a bamboo straw, I'm doing it for charity towards the planet. It shouldn't feel like it. It should feel like it's the happening thing. It's the fashionable thing to use, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where Zuko tries to make a difference. We try to be not boring. We try to make sustainability not boring. We try to make it fashion. So we started sales in EU like 2 months ago, and we had quite impressive sales. But right now we are trying to also see if the Indian market is open enough to accept us. So that's what Zuko tries to do. That's our vision. We also collaborate with Akshar Foundation. Now, what is Akshar Foundation? It's a foundation from Northeast India which works with government schools all across India. What they basically do is teach all underprivileged kids to learn skills that they can find employment with. And then they also teach them how to recycle plastics. So the school fees is paid with the plastics that are generated in their homes. So if they have like plastic bags or biscuit packets or whatever, they just have to go and give it to Akshar Foundation, and Akshar Foundation gives them free education, which is really cool, right? So
Yeah.
we are trying to work with Akshar to see that we try to raise awareness about plastic pollution in India. You know how people use one time plastics and just throw it away in the
Yeah.
drain? We want them to stop.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So that's what Zuko does. Trying to make eco materials really fashionable, not just wood and bamboo, but a lot of materials like mycelium, linen, silk, cotton, you name it. There are so many eco materials in our surroundings. Second, we also try to raise awareness in emerging countries about plastic pollution, especially one time plastics, which are currently banned in EU, by the way.
Mm.
And that's what Zuko does. How was Zuko born? So I already told you my journey was
Yeah.
really meandering.
Yes.
Uh, but when I was in EU, I during my PhD time in EU or Holland, I actually got to interact with a lot of entrepreneurs who was doing a lot to curb plastic pollution. For instance, take one-time plastics from Africa and make 3D printing filaments out of it. You know about 3D printing, right? Nowadays it's
Yeah,
a
of
really
course.
hot and happening
Mm-hmm.
thing. So then they also, for instance, they recycle plastics and make tiles, low cost tiles that can be used for construction in emerging countries. They make beautiful furniture out of recycled plastics and all. I met a lot of entrepreneurs there. And at that time, I was also working in villages in India and seeing how many beautiful craftsman materials we have, eco materials we have. And then I really thought, okay, you are recycling plastics, that's well and good, but why make plastics in the beginning? Like, for instance, I use this analogy a lot. If you're in a bathtub and your bathtub is overflowing with water, what is it that you're going to do the first thing? You are going to switch off the tap, right? You're not going to think about mopping the floor. It's
Yes.
the same logic that we apply. Why do we recycle, reuse, and reduce or whatever? Why don't we just stop using plastics or one time plastics? Why don't we just use clean materials? And in India, with so much craftsmanship and so many eco materials, we have such a brilliant opportunity to make a company here.
Mm.
And that's how I conceived the idea actually. I want to be different in that way, that I want to stop one time plastics altogether.
Yeah. So, well,
Yes.
honestly, I am truly impressed by the reason behind it, by your idea, and by your vision, most importantly. And I really hope that, we Indians also adopt this and we start using all of these products which are fashionable as well as, sustainable. And we are doing good for the earth also because it is really, really important given that we are, we are suffering from in climate change and so many environmental problems. So this is one thing that we really need. Also, next thing that I want to know is what are your products? What are your future products that you're planning to bring to India? I mean, what kind of products do you think will be suitable for our country, or which will probably Indians would want to buy? So, what is your company doing in that sense? If you want to enter the Indian market, so which products will you target, and which community? Not just community. I mean, will it be affordable for each and every section? Because these sustainable products are a little expensive. They're not that cheap, so not everyone will be able to afford it. And given that India has huge inequality, so what will be your thought behind it, and will it be affordable for every section, or it is just for the elite who can actually afford it?
So definitely what we want to do is always an evolving strategy in a startup. So we begin with thinking something, but then random things happen and then we change. That's called adoption. For instance, I didn't plan to come to India so soon, but it so happened that we have this amazing wooden sunglasses or bamboo sunglasses that I will show you right now. And I kind of distributed a couple of them to some of my friends and family, and then we started getting orders out of nowhere, like, yeah, if you can just bring us a pair, that would be amazing. And I was like, okay, I'm going to bring a couple of them, and then I brought like 20 of them to India. But right now we are having like a deluge of orders, people really going crazy to buy our bamboo sunglasses, which are really high quality. By the way, they are a bit expensive, um, but they have like UV blocking lenses, and then they have this amazing bamboo frame that you cannot
Yeah,
even say it's bamboo.
yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
amazing. It
actually
is
really
really
cool.
good finish.
Yeah, it's
Really high.
really cool.
Yep. This one is a big hit. Like this one is perfect for wearing with Indian attires like sari, lehenga, salwar suits, and all that. And our
Yeah,
models also model for it in that way. This one is going crazy. Like people are literally going crazy over this one. Then we have this one, which is worn by Indian girls with like jeans and all, which has a bit of an angry look with it.
yeah.
I really love this one. Maybe I can put on and show you.
Yes,
So I
please.
really love this one. It's completely UV blocking.
Yes,
And then these are mostly bought by guys. And this one is a big hit with guys because it has a complete wooden look.
yes, yes. It's
It's
actually
really high
really
quality
cool,
also.
honestly. Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
doesn't look like it's
this
made from
one
bamboo.
guys love. No, no, it's really
Doesn't
nicely compressed. They use bamboo
exactly.
laminate for it. You
Yeah.
can actually see the layers. Do you see the bamboo laminate layers here?
Yes,
So
yes. The
it's
white ones
it,
in the center.
yes. No, all of them
Yeah.
are bamboo. So they are
Okay.
pressed together, heat pressed together.
Okay.
So these are some of the products that we want to get in India right now, or we have already got. Then I want to also get some made in India stuff. Now these ones I really love. These are all from Northeast, and this is a silk called Eri, which actually gets better with time, so it ages gracefully. This one I really love. It's a stole. So we send a lot to EU, and they were selling really well in EU. But now I really want to sell them in India.
Yeah, yeah,
This is
please
fully
do.
handmade in India.
Okay.
Yeah, this is fully handmade in India. It's handmade in Assam, by the way, fully handmade. And this is the only non-violent silk. So in all kinds of silk production, what they basically do is, I think, boil the silk or silkworm or something. They basically does cruelty to animals. But in this silk, they don't do any damage to the silkworm. So they are allowed to breathe multiple times in a month, year, or something like that. I have some cool videos of that silkworm. These are some of the stoles. I have a lot of them. Wait, let me get them for you.
Yeah, yeah, please, ma'am.
All right. So we have a whole range of colors here, and you wouldn't
Wow,
believe
you have
it, but all of
many.
them, yeah, all of them are organically dyed. So there has been no inorganic dye used in it. So, for instance, this one is dyed with tea waste. This one is dyed with turmeric. This one is dyed with charcoal. This one is dyed with indigo. So this one is dyed with lavender flowers. So this is
Wow.
amazing. I mean, I really,
Yeah, that lavender
it's
one
really
is
cool.
really beautiful. That purple. Yeah,
This
this
one's really
this
cool.
one. Yeah, it's
Then
really
I
pretty.
also, yeah, I also had a mustard one, which is a big hit in EU, but I think somebody already bought it. Really sorry about that. I can show you in my website though.
Okay,
And
yeah.
this one's a bit different. It uses the raw fiber, so you can see like a sheen on it. And
Okay.
this one really goes well with Indian wear. If you're
Yeah,
wearing a sari or
and it
something,
has
and
like really nice finishing also.
exactly.
Wonderful.
So this one, these are all handmade by the way by Assamese or craftsmen in Assam.
Very, very
So in
impressive,
the long
ma'am.
run, we want to promote it in India, right? Yeah. In the long run, we want to promote craftsmanship in India. We want craftsmen in India to have more, I don't know, more livelihood or more economic freedom. And we want to give them good designs so that their designs are sellable in EU or US in the long run. So these are some of the products, the stoles and the sunglasses that I want to get to India or I have already got. And then in EU, we have lots of other products. I have a couple of them with me right now, like this coffee mug. This is
Oh,
steel inside
okay.
and it's bamboo outside. But the good thing about this coffee mug is that your coffee is going to stay warm for at least 2 hours.
Okay, and it is
Then you
made
have this
of
infusion bottle or bamboo and steel.
bamboo and steel. Okay, okay.
Bamboo and
Wow.
steel.
Okay.
This one's a tea infusion bottle. So this one and this one sells a lot in EU. So basically, this one keeps warm for about 6 hours. So you are going to put all your stuff in here, fruits, berries, or mint, or whatever, and then you're going to put it in, close it. That's your infusion bottle. You can even use it for tea. This one sells a lot. This one sells a lot. I just had two samples. Then we have all these phone stands that and amplifiers, and then iPad stands and all. Right now, we are beginning with them. In the long run, definitely, I want to get to India, and also I don't want it to be too expensive. Like you mentioned, the Indian market is a bit price sensitive, and
Yes.
of course, I do understand we do not have the purchasing power equal to Europe or US. So we are trying hard to bring down prices, and as of now, we are just launching with the sunglasses and the stoles.
Okay, okay.
I talked a lot, I think.
No, no, it's completely fine. And it was a very interesting conversation, to be very honest. I loved your idea, I loved your vision. And I really hope that, Zuku uh, has a lot of products in the Indian market and we become more conscious about our purchasing, what we are buying, what it contains, because we generally look for cheap products and we end up buying, I don't know, a lot of waste sometimes. Like from China we buy so much of waste,
Yeah.
which has no good quality. So I really hope that we become more
Yeah.
conscious, and I hope to see more and more of your products in the Indian market in future. And I wish you all the best. So thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out time for us and talking to us. So I'll be saying goodbye to all our viewers. This was today. This was our episode with Prarthana Majumdar. We'll be signing off. And ma'am, would you like to say something at the end?
I'm really thankful to you for inviting me. I'm really concurrent with your vision that women need to support each other, especially in a country like India where it's difficult to be a girl. So anytime anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm always available to support women, like many women have supported me. So I am really impressed by your vision. I'm really impressed by how you executed this interview. I look forward to be in touch with you guys.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Even we would
Thank
want to be
you.
in touch with you. Thank you.